Good morning. Welcome to the National Briefing. This is like an audio version of the soon-to-be created Golden Dome. You've heard about this. Donald Trump is working with some of the biggest minds in the United States in order to create a Golden Dome, which will basically revolutionize the U.S. homeland with missile defense, drone defense. We'll be able to just knock them out of the sky with the Golden Dome. I am here, the audio version, to knock out these drones and missile attacks from the left. And unfortunately, I have to say this morning, from the right. We'll get to that in just a moment. But first, thankfully, yesterday, the Senate overwhelmingly rejected the idea of kneecapping the president. So they didn't even get close to the 51 votes they needed in order to get it out of because they're going to need 60 votes eventually if they were going to try to use this war powers resolution to try to handicap and kneecap the president. And I don't even know how that would have gone. It would have been disastrous if we had to just end mid-operation. But thankfully that was rejected. It'll go to the House today, and of course we'll keep you up to date on that. But more importantly, the Senate didn't pass it. So we're going to continue on. Now, with that in mind, I hate to it really just breaks my heart that we've got so many American, like heroes. Mark Kelly I would consider him a hero, right? He served in the military, astronaut, put his life on the line for this country, and yet is continually wants to spread lies and fear to the American people. This is Mark Kelly yesterday addressing what's going on in Iran, and he's basically making the argument, the same exact argument that Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth made the day before, but he's flipping it around in a way where it's suddenly, it's very bad.
The Iranians have a lot of ballistic missiles and drones. We have interceptors in the region. We can deal with some of this. But if they have more offensive assets than we have defensive, we get into trouble here, possibly really quickly, if our magazine depth goes to zero. And when you don't have a goal and you don't have a timeline, that's when you wind up putting more Americans at risk.
So, again, the exact same argument that Pete Hegseth and Donald Trump were making 2 days ago, that the Iranians were building 1,000 ballistic missiles a month while sanctioned, while told they couldn't do that. They were doing that, and they were hoping to get to a level where it was so intimidating that then you couldn't tell them nothing. You couldn't say then they could openly tell you. This is what Marco Rubio was saying. At some point, they would have reached a level where they could tell the world, yes, we're making a nuclear weapon, and what are you going to do about it? Because we have so many ballistic missiles, we can now blow up your air bases and so on and so forth. And again, they could already strike most of our military bases in the region, and we're on the verge of being able to hit our own homeland. Now, I don't think that missile would have had much effect had it gotten here, but how terrorizing would it be for the people of a major U.S. city like, say, New York, where a missile gets shot down in Long Island Sound or something? They would have been complete panic in the streets, and that's exactly what Mark Kelly wants. The liberals want panic. They want you to be very nervous. They want to rattle your confidence in this administration. So Fox News put together a montage of I think they're all senators, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember who's on here. I'm thinking, I know we got the idiot Von Holland from Maryland. We've got Chuck Schumer on here. We got Cory Booker on here. I think that these are all, Pocahontas is going to try to scare you. So let's hear the montage of all the idiots from the left.
Netanyahu had not found a president stupid enough to drag the United States into that war.
It is so much worse than you thought.
Oh, my God, yeah.
You are right to be worried.
Be very
Trump
afraid.
administration has no plan in Iran. This illegal war is based on lies.
When there's no set plan, when you can't hear day after day, we're going to do this, and this, and these are the reasons why, you end up with an endless war.
This is a precedent that is reckless and wrong.
This isn't a war for America.
So, I mean, the same old talking points. Although I do have to point out Chuck Schumer, this is pretty ironic, that the reason, or what he was saying is, if you're not going to tell us exactly what you're doing, when you're doing it, and when it's all going to end, that's how you end up in an endless war. That's actually the exact opposite. When you tell the enemy what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, they can defend it a lot better, and or they know they just got to hang on past such and such a date, whatever that date is. We're going to be here for 2 years. Okay, well then we'll see you off in 24 months, and then we'll get back to our terroristic activities. This is not what our goal is. Our goal is to completely destroy their military. Bring it to rubble. And back to Mark Kelly's point. Yeah, they got a lot of ballistic missiles. That's why we're attacking where they launch the missiles and where they keep the missiles. We don't want to have to shoot every single one of them out of the sky. We want to get them while they're still on the ground. That's the plan. We've told you this plan. They know that's the plan. How do you not know it's the plan? The Iranians know the plan better than the U.S. Democrats at this point, for God's sakes. Now, let's get the last senator said this is not a war for America, meaning this is a war for the Iranian people or it's a war for the Israelis, but this is not about us, which is a flat-out lie, which we have already demonstrated numerous times on this broadcast. But when I talk about dangerous, I've said that the most dangerous person is not the one that you know is your enemy, it's the traitor. Now, this is not a traitor to the United States. This is a traitor, though, to the movement, the cause here on the conservative right side of the aisle should be to restore confidence in America, reestablish that America is the greatest force for good in the world, and that the Donald Trump's administration is a U.S. first policy. We're not going after Iran in order to help Israel or to help the Iranian people or to help the Middle East. It's to help us. We don't want to be attacked by them. We also don't want to have our fuel supplies controlled by them. There's so many things that this is about. Megyn Kelly misinterprets it all and puts it on her broadcast yesterday.
My own feeling is no one should have to die for a foreign country. I don't think those 4 service members died for the United States. I think they died for Iran or for Israel. I understand how this helps Iran perfectly well. I get it. I mean, I hope. Long term, we'll see. But they seem rather jubilant. 80% of the country does not support the Ayatollah. He was a terrible, terrible man. No one's crying that he's dead. No normal person. But our government's job is not to look out for Iran or for Israel. It's to look out for us.
Yes, Megyn, that is the job. That's why Donald Trump actually had that little stand, if you believe that the number one job of the U.S. government is to look out for the U.S. citizens. Remember, the Democrat base, of whom you sound like you're a supporter of right now, they stayed seated. The U.S. military, and for you to say that about these dead heroes, their families, I don't know how they're going to receive this. When they hear Megyn Kelly say they did not die for America, of course they died for America. You're infuriating. They put on the U.S. military uniform. They went to a military base in a foreign country, and they said, we will do whatever our commander-in-chief tells us to do. Donald Trump did not flippantly take this action, as he talked about it in the beginning. Unfortunately, I believe we're going to lose Americans in this endeavor. But it is for the greater good of this country that we do it now. We do it now. We don't do it in 6 months when they get stronger. We don't do it in a year. We don't keep kicking the can down the road as all previous administrations have been doing since, I have to say, since Ronald Reagan. Since Ronald Reagan. Because Jimmy Carter at least tried to go rescue the hostages. It was a unmitigated disaster. Ronald Reagan was able to get the hostages out, but we never did anything to overthrow the Ayatollah. They just got more and more entrenched in the Iranian regime. And now, here we are, 47 years later. We have been suffering with the Iranians, and how many times you got to hear this? The number one exporter of terrorism in the world. Who are they terrorizing? They helped fund 9/11. Is that not big enough for you? To strike back at them for that would have been enough. To strike back at them for, Hezbollah, Hamas. the list goes on and on. The Houthis and what they do and how they block up the strait and they take over ships. I mean, this is insanity that we have been tolerating for decades. We are now stopping it. It's all going to end very quickly, and this will make America great again.